Here's what is and is not working for the Atlanta Braves offense in 2025. Yes, welcome on in to Braves Today for Friday, April 4th, your source of news, notes, and updates on your Atlanta Braves. I'm your host, Lindsay Crosby. You can follow me on X and Blue Sky at Crosby Baseball. You can follow the show on X, Braves_today. We have a Facebook page and Instagram as well. And you can find all of my written work, bravestoday.com. That's the Braves Today Substack, as this is both a podcast and a newsletter. And lots of ways to support the show and everything that we're doing. If you're listening on audio, do us a favor, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever Google's using for their podcasts now, leave a 5-star review, maybe some kind words. That'd be super awesome. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell when we drop that next episode, and subscribe to the newsletter. Free, paid, whatever it might be. Either way, helps us out a ton. Just spread the word on these Atlanta Braves and what they're doing. A little bit later in the show, I want to get to the Miami series, right? We're turning the page on everything that happened in the last week and break down Max Meyer, because I think he's a better pitcher than his results last year tell. And I want Braves fans to be prepared for some of the changes that he's made over the offseason going into tonight's matchup as Atlanta tries to finally get in the win column. But first, the Atlanta Braves offense is, to put it mildly, atrocious on paper, right? The team as a whole is batting 151. And if you, situationally, it's even worse. Runners in scoring position, this team is batting 122. They are 6 for 49. And if you look only at players who have at least 25 plate appearances, Marcell Ozuna leads the team in batting average at 188. But these are all very small sample sizes. And so I think what's useful right now to have a better idea of what's going wrong with the Braves, let's look at the the processes and the inputs that's going into what they're doing. Because we've talked ad nauseum about this. We did it at times last year too. They are having bad luck. Offensive bad luck. That is, most people don't want to hear it. That is true. There is virtually no chance that the team BABIP, the batting average on balls in play, stays under 200, right? They are having bad luck. We've talked about the hard hit balls. They should be hitting 500 on hard hit balls. They're hitting low threes on hard hit balls. We've talked about all that stuff. Let's talk about the processes. What's going into this? The decisions. What their approach is. What is working, what is not working. Because there are areas, very few, but there are areas where Atlanta's amongst the best in baseball. Pitches seen per plate appearance. Going into yesterday's games, there's only 5 games, 10 teams playing. The Braves were first in baseball at pitches seen per plate appearance, 4.18. Consequently, things that come from that, 2-0 counts. They were second in baseball. 1 in 5 guys, 19.5%. So 1 in 5 guys gets to a 2-0 count in their at-bat. Walk rate. They were third in baseball at walk rate. Part of me wonders how much of that is Marcell Ozuna. He's leading all of baseball with 13 walks in a total of 29 plate appearances. I don't think that his walk rate, his 44.8% walk rate, is going to hold all season. It would be an MLB record, obviously, if it did. But some of these guys do have good processes. Matt Olson's a guy that I want to highlight. The conventional stats. Again, everybody in this show, the conventional stats are going to suck. Okay? He's batting 182, 4 for 22. Looks awful, I know. But what he's doing at the plate, the process is better, is good. Because if you remember what Tim Hires does, and if you want to go watch that press conference, we have it on the YouTube channel, and we wrote up a couple stories about him on the newsletter. one of the things that Tim Hires wants these guys to do is be more selective, right? Wait for your pitch versus swinging at necessarily any hittable pitch. And thankfully, StatCast has a year-over-year tracker where we can go and see a lot of the plate discipline metrics and everything, the quality of swing metrics, all of that stuff, and see how it compares year over year. The things that I noticed from Matt Olson, he is being more patient. And I think a big area where you see that is in first pitch swings. Okay. And again, these are all small sample sizes for 2025, but in 2024, he swung 34% of the time at the first pitch. So 1 in 3 times he swung. This year, that is down to 20.7%. So 13% less first pitch swings. Now, he's also getting less first pitch strikes. He is down to 51.7%. That's down like 9%. So that is part of the reason he's getting to 2-0 counts. Okay. Another part of the reason he is getting to 2-0 counts is he is seeing the exact same amount of pitches outside of the zone, 51.9%. It's literally the exact same as 2024 when he was at 51.9%. But he is swinging almost 6% less on pitches out of the zone. He's never really been a huge chase guy, right? Last year, he was at 28.7%, which was right there at MLB average. This year, he's at 22.9%. So he is swinging less at whatever the first pitch is. He is swinging less outside of the zone. So he's being more selective. Like, he's swinging in general, he's swinging less. 8.2% of the time less. He's swinging less in general because he's waiting for better pitches. Now, because of that, and this is going to normalize, this will not stay at this number. Last year, he had a 10.4% walk rate. This year, 24.1%. Now, again, that's going to come down. He's not going to run a 25% walk rate all year. But Matt Olson is drawing significantly more walks than he did last year. So he's swinging less at bad pitches. He's getting ahead in the count more. And he's just being more patient overall. Despite swinging less, he's making better contact because of it, okay? His hard hit rate right now is 64.7%. In his career, he's hovered between 48 and 55%. So Matt Olson's swinging less, but you can see the selectivity is working because he's swinging at better pitches to hit and he's making more hard hit contact. Again, 64.7% hard hit contact. Over last year's numbers, it's 17% better. That's probably going to come down a little bit. I don't think anybody's finished in the mid 60s on a hard hit rate. But that's an example of what he's doing is working. His barrel rate, 29.4%. He finished last year at 12.4. His amazing power year of 2023, where he hit 54 home runs, that was 16%. Again, he's at 29.4% barrel rate. So Matt Olson is the perfect example of what Tim Hires has been teaching actually working from an approach standpoint. Now, again, because of that bad luck, we haven't seen the production out of it. He has no home runs. When you go to StatCast and you look at the spray chart for hits, it overlays all of the guys' successful hits over their home ballpark. Matt Olson has a single that was hit towards the first baseman, and he has 3 doubles, and all 3 of the doubles are past the edge of the wall in Truist Park. He had the double off of Tatis's glove in right center. He had he had the ball in right center, and he had the double off the wall in LA over Conforto's head in left. All 3 of those it looks like would have either been off the wall or home runs in Truist Park. So he's a perfect example of he's doing everything right at the plate just about every time. That pop-up in the 6th inning on Wednesday was annoying, and it's not quite translating just yet. Austin Riley is in a similar boat to Matt Olson, right? He is swinging at the first pitch less. He is chasing less. He has more selectivity at the plate. He's hitting more barrels. He's just also not getting them to fall like he should. Another guy who is underperforming. When you look at, there's a cool thing on StatCast where they compare your actual batting average to your expected batting average. And if you remember how expected batting average works, this is the quality of the contact, right? The exit velocity, the direction, the distance, and would that ball likely, what's the batting average on all of that exact type of hit? That same exit velocity, direction, launch angle, all of that. Matt Olson's batting 167 off of the expected batting average is a 316. He's 149 points below what he should be hitting based on the quality of his contact. Austin Riley should be better. These guys are all over 100 points difference between their actual batting average and their expected batting average. Like, that's just runners in scoring position. With runners in scoring position, Matt Olson should be batting 316. He's batting 167. Austin Riley should be batting 139 with runners in scoring position. He's hitless with runners in scoring position. I know 139 is not great. It's better than nothing. Drake Baldwin's another guy that's got pretty bad like this. Drake Baldwin is hitless with runners in scoring position. Based on the quality of the batted balls, his expected batting average is 352. Brian De La Cruz has no hits with runners in scoring position. He should be at 414 off of an expected batting average perspective. Like, so many of these guys are underperforming what they should be doing with runners in scoring position. If you take off the runners in scoring position qualifier and you just look at overall the underperformance on the expected stats, then guess what? Drake Baldwin, again, 186 points worse actual batting average versus expected batting average. Matt Olson, 087 worse. Austin Riley, 064 worse. Like, almost every Braves regular, with the exception of Marcell Ozuna and Nick Allen, are hitting worse than they should be with both with runners in scoring position and overall. There are some guys, however, who are not quite hitting as they should be because the approach isn't quite dialed in yet. We'll get to that next, right here on Braves Today. But first, today's episode is brought to you by our friends at Chinook Seedery. Absolute best sunflower seeds on the market. It's the perfect amount of sea salt. You don't have that super salty mouth, parched, burning tongue kind of thing because it's just exact amount of sea salt you want. Tons of awesome flavors. Original, lemon pepper, jalapeno ranch, Parmesan and pepper, cinnamon toast, dill pickle, hatch chili, and smokehouse barbecue. Okay? Go buy, they have a $15 variety sampler pack with free shipping that has all of 8 flavors for you to try. Once you figure out what you want, at ChinookSeedery.com, promo code BRAVES, you can get 10% off either building your variety, like building your own case, or buying the variety pack. Again, ChinookSeedery.com, promo code BRAVES. That's ChinookSeedery.com, promo code BRAVES. Okay, welcome back to Braves Today. Lindsay Crosby talking about the offense, what is working, what is not working. And I think the big takeaway is for a lot of the best players on the team, the new approach is working. Correction. The new approach has stuck, but it's working from an inputs perspective. It's working from a quality of contact perspective. It's not yet working in the actual stats. And some of this is just exceptional bad luck. But not everybody has properly internalized this new approach yet. And I think a guy that is very disappointing right now because I expected him to have a really big year. And there's obviously still time. We're 7 games in. Michael Harris II. His approach is not completely dialed in from this thing that they've been asked to do by Tim Hires. So I'm assuming he's pressing. And remember, 85 pitches is what he's seen. This is an incredibly small sample size. And there are things to like about what Michael Harris has done so far this year. His zone contact rate, 92%. His career, in his career, his 3 previous seasons, 83 and change, 81 and change, 81 and change. So if he's able to show a huge improvement in zone contact, that's going to be a huge deal for his season. And that's with him swinging less in the zone. So he has internalized being more selective about pitches in the zone. He's always been like a 68, 69% swing in the zone guy. He's at 59.5%. He's swinging less in the zone, and he's making more contact. You like that. But he's also pressing. He's chasing more out of the zone. And so because of that, he's making significantly less contact out of the zone, right? His chase percentages have always hovered between 38 and 39%. He's never been a super disciplined, he's always been a chase-prone guy. MLB average is 30%, right? This year so far, Michael Harris is at 46.5% chase. He's swinging less in the zone and making more contact when he does, but he's swinging more out of the zone and making significantly less contact. His chase contact, so contact out of the strike zone, has always been 60-ish%, right? He's at 45% right now. So this is something where he's not swinging a bunch at the first pitch. He's very passive. 1 and 4. That's it. 24%. He was always at 29 to 35% or whatever. Swinging less than MLB average at the first pitch. Swinging less in the zone overall, making more contact when he does, but also chasing a lot more and making a lot less contact. The one thing I will say that I am happy to see is MLB has a term in StatCast for pitch locations called meatball. And what a meatball is a pitch in the heart of the plate. And if folks who listen to this show every day will remember, one of the things I talked about when Tim Hires was brought on by Atlanta, almost said Tim Hires was hired. When Tim Hires was brought on by Atlanta, was Michael Harris was way below average at hitting pitches in the heart of the plate. He actually had a negative run value at pitches in the heart of the plate. And it was because he took too many pitches. He did not swing enough at pitches in the heart of the plate. Just too many takes. Right now, Michael Harris has swung at 100% of the pitches he has seen down the heart of the plate. His meatball swing percentage, which is a weird term, but a grooved pitch, a middle, whatever you want to call it, he is at a 100% swing rate at pitches in the heart of the zone. That is process that you like. That is a good thing. You are never going to go wrong swinging at pitches down the middle. In his previous seasons, 80%, 75%, 73%. So, obviously, still flaws here. You don't like how much he's chasing. But he absolutely, the biggest, most egregious issue that he had last season, taking pitches in the heart of the plate, he has absolutely keyed in on how to fix that. And that is something I am very happy to see. Absolutely love seeing that. Another thing that I love to see is the approach that we've seen so far from Drake Baldwin. He's taking a ton of pitches. And That is something where we talked about this team did not see enough pitches. He is one of the main guys taking a bunch of pitches. But also, he's making good, not great contact in the zone. 82% zone contact, that's right at MLB average, right? So I want it to be a little bit higher. It was close to 90% in the minors last year. He's chasing below average, so he's not being fooled by big league breaking balls like a lot of young players are. He's swinging a lot in the zone, but he's not excessively swinging overall. And again, all of the difference in his actual and his suggested stats, he should be hitting much better than he actually is. Drake Baldwin's expected batting average should be 242. He's batting 056. We saw the Braves make a minor trade yesterday for catcher Jason DeLay. And again, folks who listen to this show every day have heard me multiple times say I wanted the Braves to go acquire Jason DeLay. 30-year-old catcher. He's got like 170 games of MLB experience, and he's in the second of his 3 option years. They optioned him to Double-A Columbus as soon as they acquired him for cash considerations from the Pirates. But getting another catcher that has major league experience tells me that the Braves are so happy with what Drake Baldwin has done that they are going to keep him in the majors when Sean Murphy is back. Murphy caught another 7 innings yesterday. He's not ready to come back yet. The requirement, they said they want him to do consecutive 9-inning games before they bring him back to Atlanta. So he's not ready to come back yet. But what the acquisition of DeLay tells me is Atlanta's probably going to keep Drake Baldwin in the majors when Sean Murphy comes back. And so what that means is Chadwick Tromp is probably being DFA'd. Here's the thing. Somebody will claim Chadwick Tromp. Braves fans think that because he's not a great hitter, he will just fall through waivers. He is a good defender. Chris Sale, in his Cy Young acceptance speech, specifically shouted out Chadwick Tromp's defense. Chadwick Tromp will get claimed by somebody. And honestly, I would, as much as I'd hate to lose him, I would be happy for him that he would get a place to go play every day. Like, not every day, but he would get a major league roster spot and the money and everything that comes along with that. Because he's at the point where he can stick as a major leaguer from a defensive perspective. He is that defensive first backup catcher that a bunch of teams would want. So, as much as I'd hate to lose him, I'd be happy for him to get that major league spot. But this is absolutely this is what the Jason DeLay acquisition tells me. Because now your depth in the minors would be, you would have Sandy Leon in AAA. You would have DeLay in Double-A. You signed James McCann, who's still in extended spring, the veteran. And then at the major league level, you would still have Sean Murphy and Drake Baldwin. So you would have pretty good depth in case something were to happen. So that's what that trade tells me. And again, just want a little bit of shout out to AA for listening to the Braves Today podcast. It was the March 7th episode. I talked about, rather than signing a veteran catcher, I would just go get Jason DeLay, and the Braves did that. In just a second, let's talk about Max Meyer, because he's one of Miami's top prospects, and I think he's a little bit better than maybe we're expecting from last year's results. Let's preview tonight's matchup next. We'll do that right here on Braves Today. Final segment of Braves Today, Lindsay Crosby talking about the weekend series where the Braves finally get in the win column. Tonight's alliterative matchup, Max Meyer versus Spencer Schwellenbach. And Max Meyer was not great for the Marlins last season. They did a lot of funny stuff to him too, right? They sent him down to try to manage his innings, which was just service time manipulation. He finished with 11 starts in the majors, a 5.68 ERA, and a 1.42 whip. But his first start of the year was 5 2/3 innings, more strikeouts than innings, 7 strikeouts. And he's shown a lot of differences to his pitch mix that I think Braves fans need to be aware of for this. His fastball, he's throwing it less, but it's better. He had a velocity jump in his first start, 94.1 to 95.6. It picked up additional vertical break as well. And odd that, like, it wasn't great last year. He dropped his arm angle, but got more vertical break, which is not a thing that usually happens. And he's throwing it harder. But he is using it less. He threw it 40% of the time last year. Max Meyer last year was a four-seam slider almost the exact same amount, 41% and 40%. 88-mile-an-hour slider. Folks who watch this show know I love me a good hard slider. 94-mile-an-hour on the four-seamer at 40% usage. Had a changeup at 18%. And then a sinker. Little bit of a sinker, 92.6 miles an hour, 2% usage. Barely used it. The whole idea was if you're sitting changeup, he would just send something in 6 mile an hour harder with the same movement profile, okay? This year is different, okay? He's cut the four-seamer usage from 40% to 20%. The slider's coming in harder. It's 90, 91. So it is, holy cow. And I love what the new slider is doing. I think it's fantastic. To make up some of that lost four-seamer usage, some of that's gone to the sinker. He's throwing at 94 miles an hour, 15% of the time. So that's a 35% fastball usage. It was 40% four-seamer last year. It's now 35% combined four-seamer and sinker. And again, the four-seamer is harder with more vertical break. He's also now throwing a sweeper 13% of the time, high 80s, which is not something you see a ton. High 80s, 87% is, 87 miles an hour is not something you see a lot from a sweeper. 5 mile an hour harder than you usually see. It doesn't move horizontally as much, but it's 2 inches less horizontal movement with an extra 5-6 miles an hour. It's amazing shape. I love that. That is a vicious pitch, and it's working for him so far. And so what it is, and then the changeup is 12% usage. Changeup didn't really, this is an unintended joke, the changeup didn't change much. It lost a couple percent of usage, and that's it. Really what you have, think of the slider as he's using it like a cutter. Similar to what you saw the other day. He's using it like a cutter to bridge between the sweeper and the fastballs. But Braves hitters need to be cautious of the consensus easiest pitch to hit, both in baseball in general and from Max Meyer, are four-seam fastballs, because they're generally the straightest pitch. He's throwing a lot less of those than usual. You're going to see a lot of breaking pitches. You're going to see over 50% if this pitch mix holds in this next start. You're going to see over 50% breaking balls between the 90-mile-an-hour slider and the sweeper, which, again, both very fast and close to the same amount of sweeper movement that you normally see. It's fantastic shape. I would love to give that sweeper to half a dozen Braves pitchers. That's awesome. And then four-seamer sinker instead of just four-seamers, and then a little bit of a changeup at the end. So it's going to be a good matchup for the Braves. I do think Spitzer Swellenbach can outpitch Max Meyer, and it's all going to come down to the Braves hitters needing to stick with these approaches, right? The approaches that have been working. Matt Olson honestly shouldn't change a thing with his approach. Austin Riley probably shouldn't change a thing with his approach. Marcell Ozuna's barely swinging, but in his defense, he's also barely seeing strikes right now. He has 5 more walks than anybody else in baseball. So I am cautiously optimistic that the Braves should be able to take this matchup tonight, finally get in the win column. If you're still up after the game, we're going to be going live over on Locked On Sports Atlanta and Locked On Braves. Me and Jake Mastriani doing the postcast, so check it out over there. In the meantime, over here, if you're listening on audio, leave us a 5-star review, Spotify, Apple, whatever Google's using now. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when we drop the next episode. Until next time, this has been Braves Today.